Beautiful women will always receive help from strangers before friends and even family. I was thinking about something and even reading a couple comments, and I really came to the aha moment and the realization that the people around you, especially if they knew you and you were in a different space in your life, you were maybe heavier, you had less money, you were not in a you were not operating in your best. They will be around and they'll listen to you, and they'll even give you help, quote unquote help, but not enough to ever help you really progress further than where you are currently or even past them. And it's almost like when you do reach past them, they become almost incensed because it's like, how dare you do better than me when you were less than me? Like, I was comfortable when you were less than me. Like, it's almost like, I don't know if you heard the saying, it's like, be careful whose ear you're crying on, because you might think of it as a moment of like, they're listening to me, they're supportive, but your troubles, your stress, your worries is something that makes them happy. Like, I've actually had this in my own personal life. This was a maybe about a year ago, maybe a couple, I don't know, it's closer to the year mark than not. But I was going through something and I was talking to what I thought was a friend. And, you know, in that moment, like, it seemed like she was being so supportive. And then at the end of the conversation, she said something. And at that moment, I'm like, hold up, like, that was really shady. And she tried to play it off as a joke, like, haha. But in hindsight, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wow, like, this whole time you were listening to me when I was coming to you because, you're my friend and I wanted to express something to you. And I thought you cared about me, but you're only really listening to me because it made you feel better. Like, well, you might be pretty, but at least I'm not going through this. Or, you might have this, but at least I'm not doing that. And it's just really crappy, especially, when you're beautiful, 9 times out of 10, your spirit will match that. So it's like, um, you will get attacked and like brought down because of that. It's so weird. Like, it's so weird. Um, I say this all the time, like, I don't look like what I've been through. And that same friend would always make a comment almost directly after that. Like, if I'd be talking to a group or we would be sharing things, and I'd be like, yeah, this happened, but, I'm so grateful that I made it out and I don't look like it and this and that. And the same friend would always, like, almost immediately after I say that, would always be like, yeah, but we got to focus on more than what we look like. Like, what you look like is not that important, this and that. And it never goes to fail that every time I make a mention about my looks, I always get that response from her, or that's always the next thing that she says. And this is just someone that, was very close to me. And it's just like, there were times, and I'm never the person where I'm like looking for a handout. That's just not me. Um, I don't know why, but I am always taken care of and provided for by God. Like, I don't know how to explain that. There's this reel that's going around, and it's like, being favored is really the biggest flex. It really is, because I'm not even joking. There have been so many times when I have been down and out, my back is against the wall, and God would really show up, show out, and give me exactly what I needed. And that's why I never have the attitude of like begging or like expecting something from anyone, because I know divinely I'm always provided for. And that's something else too, where it will cause irritation in people, because even if you're deserving of that blessing, deserving of that breakthrough, or even if you worked hard for it, people will never think you deserve it because you're beautiful. I said this a couple of videos ago, how there was this guy in our, like, kind of friend group, circle group, who had literally just given me money just because there was no strings attached. Even now to this day, the energy's not shifted. He's always respectful, upright. Like, there genuinely was no strings attached. It was just out of generosity. And when that happened, that same person, well, at this point she's not my friend anymore, but she still has to be around the same group. But she got irate and like I said, incensed, because it's like, Well, what did you do to get that? Well, what are you going to do? Why did he give it to you? Um, and mind you, he's not someone that I was as close to as her. It's just like a little friend group. Um, but essentially he's a stranger, and he gave me help just because I didn't need it. I kind of went shopping with it because it really didn't, I didn't have a need for it, but it was just nice. Um, and I realized that as a beautiful woman, you will always get more support. Even this community. Oh my gosh, this community is the perfect example. Look how much we've grown. Look at the comments. Look at the shares, and just the sheer support that I receive from you ladies. And now we're close. Now we're a community. But you ladies were all strangers at one point, and you guys are supporting me more than the people who were close to me. And I want you to look at your own life, like really look at that. Have you noticed that you receive help from strangers more than your actual friends and family? Don't take it too personal. And I don't want it to put you in a bad space mentally once you do realize that, because it's a hard pill to swallow. Because you'll think like, oh my goodness, like the people closest to you should be the ones supporting you more than these random strangers. That's not the case. It's really not the case. And like I said, a lot of times it will come from a place of, well, you were doing worse than me before and now you're doing better. Why would I want to help you? Like, when you were doing bad, you made me feel better about myself. Now that you're not doing bad, you're making me feel, does that make sense? I'm dropping a little diamond on you guys. Um, it's an aha, but it's just the reality of it as a beautiful woman. And I love you ladies, and I'll talk to you soon.